All right, all right, all right. I'm back with another You Can't Make This Shit Up. I'm your host, David Washington, CEO, founder, owner of J.M. Washington LLC. We're political innovators. And welcome to the show. It is a different spin. I'm going to work on a new intro. I like the old one, but things have changed. We have matured, we have adapted, and things are different now. So let's get right into it. As you can tell by the title, this is going to touch some feelings, and I don't care because you can't really make this shit up. Representing the Washington brand, thank you very much. I don't have my baseball cap on because I'm inside and the lights are not doing too much damage to the vitiligo. So let's get to it. So I had a conference call late last night. Not my favorite type of conference calls because they happen late at night, and so the noggin is not working as well. The brain is not, clicking on all cylinders like it is earlier in the day. My days start at about maybe 5 o'clock and last until about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So it's a long day for me. However, I was talking to two very trusted members of my um, inner circle. And this was a continuation of a conversation about immigration that started our conversation in the conference call, which we do irregularly. We call it our little happy hour. And it was a continuation about the Trump mass deportation um, program addressing illegal immigration to the United States of America. And my two friends were are very much against the policy, and their rationale stems in yeah, that's a good question. The rationale stems in what exactly? Racism. Racism. That's it. Racism. That's what was told to me. Racism, and I'll get to that in a moment. Um, my rationale for supporting an aggressive deportation program and addressing our illegal immigration situation is this: the law is broken. Those individuals who have broken the law, if it was me, my ass would be shipped out of here. I would expect myself to be shipped out of here. Many individuals who have lived in our communities for years, however, entered our communities illegally, although they have established families, businesses, relationships in the community, they have found their way deported. These stories are not new. As a political innovator and someone who does a lot of research in this. And I'm going to talk about the research a little bit later. But keep in mind, if you're watching this and if you watch the next episode that I discuss this, Texas representative, former representative from Texas, Barbara Jordan, was tasked in the 90s by the Clinton administration to come up with an immigration plan. I'm going to talk about that because a lot of what we're discussing right now was discussed back then. And so we have to have an honest conversation about this. And I did not bring that up in my conversation last night because it was heavy lifting for the two individuals that I was speaking to yesterday. Regardless, I established my point of view throughout the group text earlier in the day and previous conversations and tried to do it yesterday. And I was just faced with a retort by saying the policy is racism. Okay, what do you mean by racism? It's racism. It was I was told. Okay, explain that. It's racist. Wait a second. So if I force myself into your home without your consent, is that not an illegal act? Of course it is. Are you able to protect yourself from my actions because I enter your home illegally? Of course you are. Will you expect some legal intervention, law enforcement, to assist you in removing my person from your home? Of course. And that's how I see it. That's how I see it. And it's unfortunate that, and Barbara Jordan said this when she's spoke to a group of legislators in the press. She said, back in the 90s, she said, we need to address this issue because before it gets too big, before it gets out of control. And that is what has happened. It has gotten out of control. Are loved ones going to be deported, detained, and deported? Yes. Innocent people? That may be likely. Nothing is foolproof. Can this be done humanely? Of course it can. Will it be a priority? I don't know. But in this conversation, the two individuals I was talking to, and this is where the black privilege comes from, two black men in their 50s living their best lives. You would say they were in the top 5% of all Americans, living well, homeowners. One of my friends, he owns a number of buildings that he rents out. Both are established in their careers. They both work for either a nonprofit or a government entity. Neither has owned a business or were an entrepreneur. And so I wanted to say to them, but I was tired and there were other things to talk about. However, I wanted to say to them, first, have you all looked at what Representative Barbara Jordan from Texas presented to America in regards to the issue of immigration and how it was a dire issue then? It was hair on fire, all hands on deck situation then, and we've kicked the can down the road, and here we are in 2024. Is this what 1997 or something like that? I can't remember. I don't know. Is it 97? Oh Christ, I can't remember. Maybe it was 80s. I'm getting old. But, however, I look back to it, and when the racism part came up, it's like, what part of your situation caused you to think that this policy is racist? Oh, they're gonna scoop you up. They're gonna scoop up, the people you care about. If any of you know about anything about me, my proximity to the Mexican American community is very close. It has been for over 35 years. So there's a personal, you know, um, aspect to this for me. And say, can you get past, the what ifs and the, let me scare you tactics, the usual Democratic liberal tropes? Can we get past that? While you've got Venezuelan gangs down the street from where you live in the Midwest, in Illinois, while you've got Venezuelan gangs embroiled in an all out war with the black gangs in Chicago, you're worried about racism as you live in your ivory towers, drive your expensive cars, live in your nice middle class homes. The disconnect with many black Democrats showed itself in this previous election. When I look at numbers and look at statistics, I try to look at the middle ground, the mean, you know, and see where most people, where most of the numbers settle. And you see this monolithic, yes, black folks, vote in the monolithic block. Black people voting, vast majority, 80%, I'm waiting for the final numbers, but the vast majority of black people voting for the Democrats time and time and time again. And particularly in this election, where the Harris Walz campaign hustled out these celebrities, these politicians who told you to vote for Harris Walz, but offered no real challenge to why people across many demographics were choosing Donald J. Trump and the Republicans. Yes, yes, he has a mandate. He has a mandate not because, the electoral vote counts. No, 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 no. And as the numbers come in, he's losing the popular vote, but that's not it. House of Representatives, the U.S. Senate, the White House, and a very conservative Supreme Court of the United States. That's the mandate. And unfortunately for the Democrats, the liberals were unable to demonstrate or discuss effectively, message effectively, why a Harris Walz presidency, administration would be so much more beneficial than a Trump Vance presidency. She failed. Marijuana legalization for black men, whoop-de-doo. Cryptocurrency, I've been dabbling in crypto for several years now, whoop-de-doo. Small business loans that we have to pay back. That whole policy to attract black men was garbage. It was. And then to expect abortion to be an issue that drove people to vote for a presidential candidate. Democrats have a lot to learn, a lot. And for black Democrats, you all have a lot to learn. You all have to stop looking at the culture issues, identifying with someone's color, their race, or whatever. And instead, you all should start looking at policy and having real conversations about policy and determining that just because a candidate may look like you or may be the same sex as you doesn't necessarily mean they have your best interest, your kitchen table issues as their own. That's the key. And that's why Trump won. because he spoke to people's kitchen table issues. And I'm not, trumping for Trump. No, 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 no. Because I've been saying this. I've been saying this on national television. I've been saying this for the longest. It boils down to kitchen table issues. And the candidate, the campaign that's able to speak to those kitchen table issues effectively was going to win. And that would be President-elect Donald J. Trump. I didn't have a horse in this race. I really didn't. I didn't. I just come at this from the perspective that I have. But for my people, we need to, and we saw with black men, as more black men voted for Republicans and Trump, we have to bring our mothers, our wives, our sisters, our nieces, our aunts, our grandmothers. We got to bring them along. But my people need to understand that we have to look beyond the face in the mirror and start looking at the policies that will allow us to afford that mirror, and maybe another mirror, and maybe a house to go to put those mirrors in, and maybe safer communities, free from gun violence, free from drugs, good schools, clean air, clean water, great a great economy where you can have, where you can build families, build communities, build families. I love to have the family that my mom and dad had. And I would love to have had my mom have the ability to stay home with my brother and I growing up. However, dad and mom did a great job of raising my brother and I. Pretty good job, mom, and God bless you and dad. However, that doesn't mean that we can't strive for those things. Maybe, a parent at home and a parent working is not ideal for everyone. But let's think about what's really important, because being able to maintain a household, raise a family, save for the future, build generational wealth, thank you, mom and dad, has nothing to do with abortion. It has to do with being able to provide and protect, and for us black men, especially lead our families and our communities. So that was my phone ringing. Sounds like the fiance is calling. But anyway, black folks, let's have this conversation. I love to help this to my two compadres in my inner circle. We're going to have this conversation. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm just laying out the case. I'm David Washington. You can't make this shit up. Our flagship podcast here at the Jay Washington Network. Don't forget, we have From the Margins with James LaFont and myself. This is James, a legacy Florida Democrat. His perspective on what the Florida Democrats can do better and what they can do without. Don't forget, we have the David Washington Show. A little bit more opinionated, but of course I bring my facts, not my feelings. And every Monday, 5 minutes of campaign insight, political innuendo, and the secret sauce to winning campaigns. That's right, every Monday, 5 minutes or thereof that we provide to you. Countertop politics. So please, like, share, comments. I love your comments. I will get to your comments. I know, Mr. Norton, I know there are, comments that you made, that many people have made that I need to get to. I've been traveling for like the last 2 weeks. I will be traveling for the remainder of November into December. However, I will be producing content for our community that is forever growing. We are on TikTok. We are blowing up on TikTok. Whatever happened prior to the election, during the election, and just after, we are blowing up. And I really, really appreciate our new audience joining us. So, again, this is You Can't Make This Shit Up. I'm David Washington. We'll see you the next time. Take care.